This is the Bionicle Inspiration Series, the show where we spotlight Bionicle mocks from across the Bionicle community to inspire you and give you ideas. Today I want to talk about the biggest, the baddest, and the best looking Titan mocks. The bigger, the better. Let's take a look at some huge, imposing character and creature builds to get you inspired. Starting off with the first mock, this is Makuta Kaishu vs TAKANUVA by Shadrach. You know, I remember stumbling across this creation like 10 or so years ago and it blew me away. This was my desktop wallpaper for like 2 years. I dreamed of being able to build something this awesome. I mean, what's cooler than a 3-headed creature that has a sea of fangs around its mouth? Look at how menacing this is. There also appears to be little black tentacles coming out of the inside of the face. Maybe that's some kind of like shadow powers that are emanating out of the mouth, or actual tentacles, or whatever it is. I love it. Now, these are made from the standard hand connector pieces, the same ones that are used on the hands of Onawa Nuva. You simply link them together with some 1x2 axles. Technically, this technique is illegal, because it is actually putting quite a lot of stress on these pieces. But it's posable, and it looks cool. Yeah, I like it. I mentioned those teeth before. These are using the same silver sword pieces that we see on many different minifigures, but you get heaps of them in this Exoforce set. I'm sure that Shadrach bought a couple copies of this, or he just bricklinked those pieces and bought a bunch of them. But you know, if you have this in your collection, you probably have a lot of those swords, and you could build a similar mouth design. It's a very clever part use. I also like how they've used some of these black Visorak body pieces, the ones that come on this set. We can see them being placed on the upper arm. You really could only pull off this kind of design on a huge build like this. You're not going to see a like typical Matoran-sized build sporting this for its upper arm armor. That would look a little bit silly. Oh, and how have I not spoken about TAKANUVA yet? What a great reimagining of this character. And man, the imagery of a valiant white and gunmetal warrior facing down against an inky black hell monster? So cool. If you do build some kind of big monster like this, why not build a warrior for them to fight? And having that opposing yin and yang style color scheme? Sensational. Makes it even better. And then there's an image of him riding the beast. Everything about this is so good. You know, if I ever did a video about my top 10 personal favorite Bionicle mocks, this would be very high on that list. It inspired me so much. I love it. J6 Crash has built Barbarous, a mock showing this Yeti-like creature that is just devouring this poor warrior. The blood effects here are done really well. Great idea to just recolor those hands dark red so that it really looks like they are utterly soaked. Honestly, that's an amazing use for that dark red Chima fur piece. Speaking of fur, all of the furry textures on this mock are immaculate. Using lots of those thin, wavy, dark bluish grey spikes for fur, that's sick. The way that those pieces curve outward, it reminds me of, you know, when you get goosebumps or the hair on the back of your neck stands up. Seeing this, it makes me feel on edge. It makes me feel scared and anxious. It just has that kind of energy to it. And that's all thanks to the curvy lines of those pieces. Yeah, I love that J6 Crash has managed to capture that vibe of anxiety just by repeating these pieces over and over again. Doing that makes this mock feel really scary. And it should. Look at it. Also, the design just looks really wild and feral, which also fits the vibe of this creature. I love the shaping on this mock too. The entire head design, wonderful. And this leg design too, using 4 of those white torso pieces that came on Stormer XL. Genius idea. What a great leg design. What a great mock. Obsessionist has made a mock called Soul Blessing Peacock. Now, this may not be your typical towering monster. It's not so much like the other 2 Titans that we saw before, but it still takes up a lot of space and is quite large. I say that that still counts as a Titan-sized mock. But the best part here, it's those gold sword pieces and other tail elements that make up these peacock feathers. Man, it's so impressive and it's so beautiful. I especially love how they've used these printed yellow dishes up top. These come from the Van Gogh Starry Night set, the one that you're seeing here. Actually, this set had a lot of different printed dishes on it. All of them are, incredible parts. Using them here, it was a bit of a stroke of genius. These pieces are beautiful. Peacock feathers are normally very beautiful. So it really was your best choice. One of the best peacocks I've seen all year. And strangely, I've actually seen a few Peacock mocks this year. Huh. DarkNova3529 has a mock called Yoyo Paraka. I love this. A human-sized singing Paraka. Hilarious. It's using this big dark blue headpiece that came on this minifigure scale Bionicle playset. The fortress just kinda had this larger mask shape to the front of the entrance. And you know, it's pieces like this that are a little bit more difficult to use because they're so big. Who's gonna build a large mock that uses this as a head? Well, Dark Nova is, of course. You don't see people doing this that often, and man, they killed it. I think a lot of people just look at this piece and think it's useless, but when you make it the focal point of an entire creation, well, suddenly it's very useful. I mean, look at these teeth and these glasses. They really bring the face to life and add so much personality. And the floating music notes behind them. I love seeing creations that are so radically different from your standard dudes, robots, and Toa. Sure, this is a humanoid character that still kind of fits into those categories, but building a bust that's this big? You don't see that every day. I love it. Vorox has built a creation that's called Demon of Eternal Flame. This is sick. A towering giant with flames all over their back. It reminds me of the Pokemon Typhlosion. They have a similar thing going on with all the fire on their back. Yeah, this color scheme is also fantastic. Gold, black, and trans orange. I love how it perfectly pairs with Tahu Uniter's mask. Yeah, since that gold mask ends with that trans orange on the top, it kind of looks like the face just, blends in with the rest of the fire on the back. It's a nice transition. It's also really nice to see Stronius's big club weapon. You don't really see people using that part all that often, but it's a really unique and good-looking weapon. It's good to see it. And finally, SirEggs has a mock called Jabberwock. Oh, I love the textures here. The triangle shapes on these shoulders and also on the feet. They're using some specialty pieces that appeared on Nexonite sets. These larger shoulder pads, they came on this set. You can see them on the side of this vehicle. Then those dark blue small triangle pieces on the feet, these are from this set. The small little bike here, once again, it's on the sides. I see people who give a lot of hate to Nexonites, but the pieces were decent, especially these ones. And like we see here, they create such a unique vibe on this mock. So smooth, so stylish, it's beautiful. Also, dark blue and silver, what a stunning color scheme. And all the exposed tubes and pipes and wires on the chest. I love it. I also quite like this large arm blaster. The greeble heavy look of this, it contrasts quite nicely with everything else. Man, this guy looks like a freaking transformer or something. It's wonderful. And there you have it, guys. That's it for a bunch of brilliant Titan mocks on this episode of the Bionicle Inspiration series. Would you like to see your mocks featured on the show? Well, you can submit them to the submission email that's currently on your screen. Also, be sure to check the links in the description below. You can see more from the builders that I featured today right there. Be sure to check it out. Thanks for watching, guys. Happy building, and bye for now.